Hello there and welcome back to the channel. In this video, let's do a banner review of Abyssal Priyet. So, second Abyssal in 1 week. That's a lot of Abyssals. They are coming in hot. Let's get right into this and then we'll talk about whether you should pull or not. Okay, so the first thing we can see is that she's very tanky, very high HP value, very high defense value. Very cool, but not so much offense. The character skill, we do have 100% 4 hits, but again, not much offense here. Of course, she's more geared towards survival, and she has a 20% heal to the party. Also, all allies enter a defined state when her own affinity or when their own affinity is light, 15 seconds. So I guess, on Fateboard teams, the only place I can see this being useful is like Fateboard when the mobs are just viciously destroying you with their AAs, right? But still, that's pretty niche, and I don't know. It does have the 50% engage increase at start of battle, and we saw with Divine Udial, that can be pretty cool. You can actually get that to pop off right after the set of 2 skills. If she gets an AA, or if you have a little bit of first strike on the build. But even then, it's like Defiance is kind of fallen off in Arena because, like Fest Lavanya has it, but now that we have this crazy 30% haste, there isn't much time for that effect to take place. And then here, if you're using it in the middle of the skills anyway, then the Defiant State isn't necessarily going to do anything because people are coming off with skills anyway. So that's a pretty niche usage, and while she's tanky and a cool light gimmick healer, I'm not very sold on that Defiance. Let's keep looking at it here. Defense 35, which is very high. Of course, that is why this value is high. That's reflected there. And then the penalty of agility down, as all the new Abyssals have. And then all allies 25% HP is pretty nice. And then a 15% nourishment. This is like a regen when you fall below 70. Of course, you have something similar in the Karma, right? But only 5. And then it looks like all the Karma is going to be defense-based. Yeah. Yep. And then the usual stuff here with the haste. Haste is usually the way to go on anybody now, The debris is timed 25% agi, 30 seconds, and that's pretty high, and that can be valuable, let's say like on your Mech Gale build. But I really like putting damage up in the debris anyway. So interesting debris, but I would not go pulling, trying to get A5 on this unit. All right, the weapon. So I mentioned she does have sky high defense, and we have 2 defense scaled skills. One of them that buffs your defense, your time defense to increase it even more, and then a Ripper, again for survival, and it'll allow her to do some damage, but these multipliers are the new lower multipliers, not very high. And so it's not quite like the Bloody Lars sword, but it is, these days that's kind of par for the course. We saw that on Summer Yuri, DQ Sarafa, etc. Boon and defense, timed defense. That's kind of cool. So I still, if I'm bringing a healer in Fateboard, I still like Christmas Gale and Celeb F66X better anyway. Let's continue looking at the banner. We have a staff with okay high HP and a Ripper, devoted like single target Ripper, and then a self heal. So the Ripper's okay. This is like maybe like a Fateboard healer support main hand, and the passives are geared towards that. These are the passives you want on that role, but I'm not too sold on the self heal here. So maybe it's good for subs. The HP isn't as high as other weapons, so not super stoked on Fortune's staff either. All right, the Cracked Spear coming in with a pretty good attack value for a spear, and really amazing 5-hit 90% with huge Bold Vigor. Of course, it's a 26-second skill. It's pretty long. Yeah, the up to 60% Bold Vigor multiplier if you have 100% HP. That's pretty big. And then a self-heal skill to help you keep that HP up there. And, most likely if you're running like Celeb Sarafa, for example, a light spear DPS, her own weapon is just fine, works great. So like, while this weapon looks great and all, it's just not necessary. I don't know who else I'd be putting that on. But the passives are great. Boon and Pursuit, we've only seen this on maybe 2 weapons so far. So, at the very least, it's a good sub-weapon if you happen to do a YOLO and just happen to get it. And by the way, the banner's in maintenance at the moment. And I guess there was missing character skill audio, so I don't think there's going to be a refund, but who knows? We have yet to see. If you did pull and you get that refund, great, good for you. So that brings us to the burning question, should you pull? And my advice is no. I'd say go ahead and skip this. I've mentioned it before, but Christmas is right around the corner, and Christmas banners always bring something new, some new, like, beautiful power creep that doesn't really fall off. So the first round of Christmas, we got Christmas Akeha, who's a top-tier offensive supporter who really hasn't fallen off. I know, like, some top players have, like, optimized some teams and replaced her on their subjugation teams, but she's still on almost every one of mine. Then next year we got Christmas Gale, who's still, like, one of the best healers, S-tier healer, right alongside Celeb F66X. So we can expect something very good coming right around the corner. Make sure that your gem stash and your ticket stash is looking good for that. And then if you do have extra to pull right now, it would be better spent either here for Abyss Hina. If you need fire DPS, like let's say you skipped a lot of previous fire DPS, she's extremely strong. Of course, you can check out my review of her. And then Shadowbound Sarafa is a luxury item, a niche pull that ended up having good usage in Arena with, like, being able to double stack the party-wide damage reduction, which is, you know, a good safety against the super scary new sniper Celeb Gale. But again, this is a niche and luxury item that I can't really recommend you spend your resources on. But of course, you can check out my review of her, and you know, like also Big Lissy's Final Climb showcases her really well. Check that out too. So yeah. Just to reiterate, I highly recommend you just go ahead and skip this banner entirely. I'm not super stoked on the weapons. I'm not super hyped on her. Defiance is, like, tough to be in a situation where it actually works. I just, despite the fact that she looks really cool, and I wouldn't mind just, like, magically getting her on a one single ticket just for collection, I would say skip her. Really, that's all my thoughts. And let me know what you think in the comments. If you pulled or if you're pulling, I wish you luck, but please save your gems for Christmas banners. That's all I got for this one. Thanks for watching as always, and I'll see you in the next one.